Maybe a couple things there, but just back up to one of your first comments. And the President certainly supports, and I think now we have hopefully a legislative body that supports a large investment. So I think the President initially was talking about $1.5 trillion over a 10-year period of time for that investment that had all different kind of mechanisms. I trust he's coming off that a bit and getting a little more practical reality in the fact that the idea of private investment in our infrastructure in some places makes sense, in most of the country doesn't make sense. But I think now you have a House that certainly as the elections took place, you have a House now led by the Democratic Party who tend to be very focused on investment. We want that balance with kind of the right kind of regulatory environment, things like that. But I think you have the right environment at least for something good. Now, on the workforce side, I think that it is an issue today. Right? We're short. I know in our operations just across the country, I can talk about several states where there are trucks that are sitting because we can't find enough qualified people to fill those seats. What we've tried to do is really start at the very basics of providing kind of skilled training laborers, putting together out of high school, out of the technical schools, training up equipment operators, drivers. Now that's a longer term fix. We try to complement that with a real focused effort on hiring veterans, a military focus, because there's a tremendous amount of skills that folks leave the military with. These are great careers that can last typically generations in our industry, and so try to complement both a long-term and a more of a targeted effort through some of the veterans programs we have.
Yeah, and taking off what Randy said, I think the opportunity as you presented it is kind of generational. I mean, this is, there's not many things that Republicans and Democrats will agree on, and this could be something that they should agree on and they should take action on, and it could have effects generationally for not only my kids but my kids' kids, and it's kind of what the foundation of our entire economy was built on from the 50s. So it's critical that something happens, and I hope they do come to enacting something. In terms of workforce development, at Grody, we're in a small town. It's hard to attract some manufacturing jobs. The jobs are becoming more sophisticated, and getting kids to know how multidisciplinary and how exciting these jobs can be now, because it's not the same manufacturing that it was 20 years ago. They're working on electromechanical stuff. They're working on computers. We need high-tech people working in our industry. So attaching some type of workforce development opportunity to educate children, educate our kids to what's out there, I think would be critical. At AEM, we have a toolkit. It's a best practices toolkit that helps companies get outreach early into the school system. And they also have a scholarship program that helps educate or give money to educators so they can develop and train the next generation of workers.
Okay, and I will say something about long-term funding and the workforce. We've seen a lot of states that are going through a lot of bond issues and it's cyclical. So a lot of companies we've seen have had massive layoffs. It has ups and downs. So long-term funding will definitely solve that problem. But then again, you got to look for the workforce. So at NAPA, we're very excited that we have formed a committee, or in the process of forming a committee to address this. So it's going to be made up of NAPA staff, NAPA members, and the State Asphalt Paving Association. And with that, we've kind of come up with 3 legs or pillars that'll be kind of subcommittees with that. And one is looking at, creating a good story, telling the good story and being positive about our industry and what we can do in the career paths out there. So we've kind of started the research process and gathering information on that. And number 2 is looking at collaborations and partnerships from inside and outside the industry, such as the one that you'll see tomorrow with the Future Farmers of America at Ag 2 Asphalt. So I encourage everybody to be here and look at that, because it's going to take a joint effort to address this issue. It's just not something that we can do all by ourselves. And the third piece is that once we attract these employees and recruit them, we got to really show that they have a really good environment to work in, and do away with those negatives, and that they have, opportunities and a good career path going forward. So we're very excited on that initiative.
Well, thanks to each of you. One of the themes that I think John and Randy